This video is going to be a Facebook ads tutorial for beginners. I'm going to show you how to advertise on Facebook, step-by-step process, how to create a page, an ad account, how to go through the entire ad creation process, including the campaign, ad set, and ads. So let's just dive right into it here. So the first thing you're going to need to do is log into your personal Facebook account. Once there, you're going to click on this create button, and before you start running ads, you need a Facebook page to run ads from. So you're going to click on create page if you don't already have one, and go through the process of creating a new Facebook page. It's pretty easy. I'm not going to show you how to do that right now. Once you do that, you're going to go back and click create and then add. So this is going to open up your ads manager, and it's going to take you right into the ad creation process. So this is where you're going to create your Facebook ad campaign from. So every Facebook ad campaign has three components. You've got your campaign level, your ad set level, and your ad level. So on the left hand side, you can see we've got campaign, ad set, and ad. And in each section, there's a number of different things that we need to complete before we can publish our ad. So as you go, Facebook's just going to walk you through the process sequentially. So the first part at the campaign level is selecting your marketing objective. So you can see there's a bunch of different objectives here. Basically, the purpose of selecting a marketing objective is trying to tell Facebook what you're trying to accomplish with your ad. What's your intended outcome? Facebook obviously wants you as an advertiser to continue paying them money. But as an advertiser, if you're not getting good results, if you're not getting a good return on your investment, you're not going to continue using Facebook ads. So the purpose of these marketing objectives is to try and help you maximize the results you get on Facebook, which will lead to you spending more money on Facebook in the future. So basically what happens is you're going to select one of these objectives, and Facebook's going to try and optimize your campaign to help you achieve that objective. Basically all you're going to be concerned about is selecting an objective that's appropriate for your business and your intended outcome. Now if you hover your mouse over here, you can see what each of these objectives means. In this case, brand awareness is about increasing awareness for your brand by reaching people who are more likely to be interested in it. So I believe with this particular objective, what they're trying to do is send your ad to people who are likely going to remember your brand. So why would that be important to you? Well, think about car dealerships. With their ads, it's hard for them to get somebody to pull the trigger and purchase a car after watching one individual ad, right? They're going to need to watch multiple ads over the course of a lot of time. And once they go to make that purchase decision to buy a new car, they want to become part of that conversation, part of that decision-making process. So that's kind of the idea here with brand awareness. I'm not going to go through each of these in too much detail. I'll highlight the ones that are most relevant to you. So engagement, this is going to be if you want to increase the amount of likes, comments, and shares you get onto your content. So let's say you post something to your Facebook page. You would use the engagement ad to try and get more people to like, comment, and share on that post. For myself, lead generation is really important. I run a lead generation agency. I help real estate agents generate leads. So a lead is just somebody providing their name, email, and phone number, usually in exchange for something. So this is valuable because you're getting somebody's information. It's an opportunity for you to initiate a conversation and maybe move them down your sales funnel. So by choosing a lead generation objective, that's going to help you accomplish that outcome. Another popular one you might use is conversions. So conversions are going to require that you install a Facebook pixel. That's a little bit more advanced outside of the scope of this particular video. I'm going to create another video on that on my channel about creating and setting up a Facebook pixel. But basically a conversion is going to be used whenever you want your audience to go to another website and fulfill something. So maybe they're completing a form, maybe they're making a purchase on your website, maybe they're opting into some kind of lead magnet. So in this case, I'm just going to show you lead generation because that's most relevant to my business and it's what I'm most familiar with. So once you select your marketing objective, you're going to give it a name. Usually I name my campaigns first with the objective and then based on the type of campaign or the offer that I'm advertising. So for example, a homes list is a real estate offer that I often advertise for my clients. And you've got the option here to do some things like create A/B testing. I would suggest just leaving that off as the default, or campaign budget optimization. So this is kind of important and interesting. Right now your ad spend, the money that you spend to pay for your advertisements, is optimized at the ad set level, which is the second component, which we're just about to talk about in a moment. In September of 2019, Facebook's going to switch and change that so that your ad dollars, your ad spend is going to be optimized at the campaign level. All that really means is, let's say for example you have 5 different ad sets within a particular campaign. Each of those ad sets is going to have its own budget. Let's say for example $5 per day, and all of those $5 for each ad set is going to be optimized individually. Now once we move to this campaign optimization in September, you're going to set that budget at the campaign level. So maybe you still have 5 ad sets within that campaign, but all of your $25 in ad spend are going to be at the campaign level. And instead of optimizing individual ad sets, Facebook's going to look at all of your ad sets at once and determine which ones are performing the best and try and deliver the majority of your ad spend into the highest performing ad sets. It's not something you need to worry too much about at this moment. If you'd like, you have the option to test using that campaign budget optimization, but for now, just click continue. So now we're going to be taken to the ad set level. You can see on the left hand side the progress that we've made. We've completed our campaign objective. So now inside the ad set, this is where we're going to select the Facebook page we want to advertise from. We're going to identify the audience we want to see our ad. We're going to select the placement, so that's where our advertisement's going to be shown on Facebook, Instagram, and other places. And then our budget, so how much money we're going to be spending. So the first thing we're asked to do is create an ad set name. I typically like to name my ad set based on the audience that I'm targeting. So usually I'll save naming that ad set until the end, until after I complete this ad set. We're going to scroll down. The first thing you see here is page. So you just want to make sure that you select the correct Facebook page you want to advertise from. So all you're going to do is simply select the Facebook page that you just created or that you've created previously. Now you can see here it says I've selected Facebook's lead ad terms of this page because I chose a lead generation ad objective. What that means is whenever somebody clicks onto my ad, it's going to open up a lead form on Facebook. So that's kind of like if you were to have like a form on your website where you're asking for somebody's name, email, and phone number, except with this type of lead objective or ad objective, it's going to open up that form inside of Facebook. So I can actually create and design how that Facebook lead form looks at the ad level. We're going to talk about that in just a few minutes here. But with this type of ad objective, if you've never run it before, all you're going to have to do is click on View Terms and just read through them and make sure that you agree to the terms that Facebook has for their lead ads and accept them. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to publish your ads. Now, the next two things, dynamic creative and catalog. These are going to be relevant. These are more advanced strategies and probably more relevant for e-commerce style advertising. Basically, what dynamic creative is it changes the different assets of your ad. So you can see here like the images and headlines based on the person that the ad is being shown to. So for example, let's say you had an e-commerce website, you're selling cars, and you've got a bunch of different car models on your website that you're trying to sell. Let's say somebody visits the truck that you're selling on your site. So what you could do is create a dynamic ad where whenever this particular ad is shown to that person who viewed the truck, it's going to show that truck and the headline and images that are all relevant and related to that truck. Whereas let's say another person, they went and viewed a car on your website. So this ad's going to update dynamically to show all of the headlines and ads that are relevant to that car. So what you would do is upload a catalog. So that would be like your list of cars and trucks on your website. And you would use that catalog to create these dynamic ads. So obviously that's a little bit more of an advanced technique. Most of the time, you're probably not even going to be concerned about that at all. So for beginner's sake, I would just skip right past both of those. And we're going to come to the audience section. So this is where we're going to identify what audience, what people we want to see our ad. This is one of the main attractive features of Facebook ads, that you have the ability to define your audience based on where they live, their age, their gender, and certain interest targeting. Something that you're not able to do with traditional advertising like billboards or newspapers, and even with other digital advertising platforms, they're not often as robust or detailed as Facebook ads. So you can see we have a few different options. We can create a new audience, or we can select use a saved audience. So basically what I could do is go through, set all of this targeting, and then click save. And what that's going to do is save this audience into this ad account. So if I wanted to create future ad campaigns, I could come in here, select use a saved audience, and then just select that audience that I've already predefined. That just is going to save you a bit of time in the future. Right here we have custom audiences. Again, this is a bit more of an advanced technique where you can, let's say for example, somebody visits your website. Let's say 100 people visit your website. What you can do is if you have a Facebook pixel installed on that website, you can put all of those people into what's called a custom audience. So basically it's just an audience that's saved to your ad account that's filled up with all those people who visited your website. So you could select those people and run an ad to them. So let's stick with the truck example. Let's say 100 people visited your truck page on your website. You could put them into a custom audience, and then you could advertise something else to them that's related to that truck. Hey, I noticed you're looking at my truck ad on my website. Here's a discount in case you're looking to buy one. So if you have a custom audience created in your ad account, this is where you would go to select it. Again, that's a bit more of an advanced strategy, and there's other videos on my channel that explain how to create those. But if this is your first time, you're just going to be going through this process here to create a brand new audience from scratch. So first of all, we're going to select the location that these people live in. So for my purposes as a lead generation specialist for real estate, usually I'll just type in the city that my realtor lives in. So let's say, for example, they lived in Cleveland. I would just type in Cleveland. You can see we've got the city here. And I'm going to close out Canada. And you can see it's just going to drop a pin on the map on Cleveland and a 25-mile radius around it. So right here, we could select this drop-down menu and we could either advertise to people who's in this location, people who are in this location currently, people who live in this location, people who are recently there, or people who are traveling there. So depending on your business and the type of ad you're running, you've got a few different options. For my business, I usually just select people who live in this location. Now, if you wanted to, you could select this drop-down menu and either decrease or increase the radius around that circle. So if I go down to 10 miles, you'll see that circle gets a bit smaller. One thing I could also do is click on this drop a pin on the map. And then if you do that, you can click on this and you can drill down to as small as a 1 mile radius. Just like that. So that's very targeted, a very small location that you can target. Another thing you could do is target zip codes. So if I just typed in a few numbers here, here's a zip code. I'm not too sure where this is. You can see, oh, it's in Slovenia. But basically, instead of just having a circle on a map, you can type in zip codes and actually advertise to people who live in a specific zip code. Now, I will say that there are certain restrictions on advertising to zip codes. I would make sure that you kind of review Facebook's advertising policies and make sure that you're advertising in line with whatever industry you're in. For example, in real estate, because of privacy issues and equal housing opportunities, you're not able to target people based on their gender, their age, or zip codes. There's certain rules and restrictions based on each industry that you work on. For most industries, it's not as restrictive, but just make sure that you're aware of that. So after you do that, you have the ability to target based on age. I would suggest not advertising any younger than 18 years old, but as you can see, you can just kind of scroll through here and narrow this age to whoever your target audience is. You can identify a specific gender or language. Now this is where it's really interesting. We've got detailed targeting. So basically what this is, we can type in things like Zillow, for example. Zillow, if you're not familiar, is a website that allows people to go on and view real estate properties, look at the value of their home. So anyone who's engaged with content on Facebook related to Zillow, Facebook puts them into this bucket because that basically says they're interested in Zillow because they've engaged with content related to it. So what we can do is use that interest targeting and say we want to advertise to these people who Facebook thinks are interested in this particular topic. So that's one way that we can really drill down and make sure that our ad is being displayed to people who are most relevant to our offer and to our business. Now if I type in Zillow and I click on suggestions, you'll see that a bunch of ideas pop up that are related to Zillow. So for example, Trulia, that's another real estate service, very relevant and related to Zillow. There's all sorts of things you could do. You could find magazines in here. You could find websites like homes.com. Obviously, if you're not in the real estate niche, there's tons of interest that you can target as well. Associations are a good one to target, and even very broad interests. Like if I simply typed in real estate, that's an interest, and you can see the size. So with this particular interest, there's 300 million people who Facebook considers interested in real estate. So obviously in this case it's very broad, whereas something like homes.com, it's a lot smaller. It's only 500,000 people. You could even do things like occupation. So if I typed in real estate agent or broker, you can see on the right hand side we've got interest and then job title. So when people create their Facebook profile, you can actually put in the job title that you currently have, so you can target people based on their job title. So you can see there's a total of 102,000 people in Facebook that have identified that they're either a real estate agent or broker. So there's all sorts of really interesting ways that you can identify and target people. Now you can also do this thing called narrow audience. So right now what we're telling Facebook is we want to show our ad to anybody who's interested in any of these 5 things. So if there's a person who's in the Trulia bucket, Facebook will potentially show this ad to that person. Let's say they're in the real estate bucket, same thing, they might potentially see this ad. But if I click on that narrow interest or narrow audience and then I type in something else, like let's say we're advertising in Cleveland, so let's say, just for an example, I can put in the Cleveland Browns. So as you can see here, what this is telling Facebook is we're including people who match at least one of these interests, and they must also match at least one of these. So they can be interested in any one of these 5, but then they also have to be interested in the Cleveland Browns. So that's called flex targeting. That's a bit more of an advanced strategy as well. Basically, you can just kind of add on these different layers to really drill down and specify your audience. Now, usually when you do flex targeting, the cost of your ad is going to go up a little bit because advertising to that audience is going to be a bit more expensive. Now, instead of narrowing your audience by adding additional interest, what you can do is actually exclude people as well. So if I click on that exclude button, let's say in this example I wanted to advertise to people who are interested in real estate, but they're not real estate agents because they're not going to be relevant to my offer, right? So I can say people who are interested in these real estate things, but I'm going to exclude people who have real estate job titles. That way I'm not wasting my ad spend by showing it to people who aren't relevant to my ad. So again, if I scroll here and click save this audience, that's going to allow me to give a name to this audience and save them to this ad account. So if I create future Facebook campaigns, I can just quickly select them by saying, by clicking on this, where is it? Save, use a saved audience. All right, so the next thing we're going to see is placement. So this is basically identifying where you want your ad to show up. Facebook by default recommends automatic placement. So what that means is Facebook's going to show your ad to all of its available Facebook and Instagram placements, and it's going to try and optimize for the one which is giving you the best return on your investment. Alternatively, you can click edit placements and handpick the places where you want your ad to be shown. So you can see there's a bunch of different placements that are available. We've got Facebook feeds, so that's basically just like your standard Facebook wall or Facebook feed when you log into your Facebook account. We can advertise on Instagram feeds, and if you hover over each of these options on the right hand side, it shows you kind of a preview of what that looks like. The Facebook Marketplace, the right column. We can advertise in stories as well. So there's all sorts of different places that we can advertise. So by selecting edit placements, what we can do is just unselect these boxes and either exclude or include placements that we want to advertise our offer on, or we could just select automatic placements and Facebook's going to show your ad on all of the placements and just kind of optimize for the one that's performing the best. For beginners, I would recommend using automatic placements because I like to let Facebook do the heavy lifting for me. They use machine learning and all sorts of really good technology to optimize your ad and give you the best results. So if you really don't know what placements are going to be best, just choose automatic placements. So next, we're going to identify our budget and schedule. So like I was saying before, right now the budget is optimized at the ad set level. So right now we're editing our ad set. So each ad set is going to have its own budget. So right now the daily budget is being set for $20. You could go as low as $5 per day. And if you select this, you can see we can set a lifetime budget. So what that means is basically we can say we're going to start this ad today, we're going to end it a month from now, and I want it to spend no more than $350 over that entire duration. Now usually I like to have more consistent results on a day-to-day basis, so I'll select daily budget and then just set a daily budget of $5 and then just review the performance each day. So in terms of our schedule, we can either run our ads continuously starting today. So as soon as we finish going through this ad creation process, we can press publish. It's going to go through a review process. Facebook's going to review our ad, and if it meets the guidelines, it'll be published. So this ad will run continuously with no end date until we turn it off or delete it. Otherwise, you can say set a start and end date and basically just specify when you want your ad to run from. Now above this, we've got optimization for ad delivery. So right now we're optimizing our ad for leads. That's based on the marketing objective that we selected. And we can also specify an average cost per lead. So if you're spending a lot of money on Facebook, like hundreds of dollars per day, then this is going to be important for you to consider, because you want to make sure that you're maintaining a consistent lead cost. You don't want your lead cost to get really high. Generally speaking, if you've got a pretty low ad budget, like $5 per day, for example, you don't need to worry about this optional cost control. I would suggest just leaving that blank for now. You're not going to be concerned about that at all until you're spending big bucks. So then we're going to click continue. I didn't complete everything correctly, so you can see I've got an error down there. But once we click continue, we're taken to the ad component of our ad creation process. So this is the third component. You can see on the left the progress that we've made. We've finished our campaign and our ad set. So now we're at our ad. So this is basically where we're going to create the image and all of the text that people see. So again, we're going to give our ad a name up here. Under identity, once this loads, it's basically just going to confirm the Facebook page that you've selected. There we go. So Ryan Ferguson, that's my Facebook page I selected, which if you want to change that, you can go back to the ad set under page and change that. Now right here you can see under Instagram account, it says use selected page. So because under placements, we selected all placements, one of those or two of those are on Instagram stories and Instagram feeds. So what this allows us to do is we can connect an Instagram account and run these ads that are going to display on Instagram from that Instagram account. Alternatively, if you do this and say use selected page, what that's going to do is use the profile image and the name of your Facebook page and just show that on Instagram instead. So if you don't have an Instagram account, even if you do, I would recommend just doing use selected page, simply because it's easier to do. Next, we've got format. So this is where we're going to select what our ad is kind of going to look like. You can see we've got the carousel option. So basically as it sounds, there's going to be a carousel of images or videos that the person viewing the ad can scroll through, or you can choose a single image or video. So there's no scrolling, it's just a single image or a single video. This is usually the option that I use, but obviously it's up to you. Next, we get media. So this is where we're going to upload either the image or the video that we're going to use for our ad. So if it's an image, all you would have to do is click on this upload images button and go through and find an image. I'll just upload this one for demonstration purposes. Alternatively, if you have a video, you do the same thing. You just click on video and slideshow and either click on upload video and upload the video from your computer, or you could even use a slideshow. So I use this occasionally. Basically what I would do is say use templates. And Facebook kind of has this video creation kit that allows you to create a slideshow. It's basically like a video, but it's just static images that are being displayed through a slideshow kind of format. So this is kind of an option that allows you to create some more unique ad copy. A slideshow is a bit more engaging and interactive than just a static image. So this is something that you could consider using. What I might do is select something like this. So basically we just click onto each scene, upload images, and that creation process is pretty simple. So I'm going to go back to image here. I've uploaded an image. Now, if I scroll down on the right hand side, based on that image that I have uploaded, you can see we've got an ad preview. So the stuff on the left hand side, that's going to be part of your ad. It's going to be the text that they see. It's going to be the link they see, the headline that they see. But on the right hand side, we've got this ad preview. So we've got 10 different placements. So back at the ad set under placements, this is basically going to show us what the ad's going to look like on each of these placements that we've selected. So right now, mobile newsfeed, this is what the ad will look like. And if you just click on these arrows here, you can scroll through and see what it's going to look like at each placement. So if you don't like how one placement looks, like for example, if we selected Instagram stories, you can see that the dimensions of an Instagram story are taller. So in this case, this image, you can't really tell, but the background is this one color, and then we've got kind of this horizontal landscape image. It doesn't really look that great. Also, if we were to enter text here, it shows up at the bottom, and in my opinion, it kind of looks out of place. So in this case, if I was using a placement that used a very different sized image or video, I would go back up to where we added or uploaded our image, and you can see we can click on customize your ad by placement. I would click on Instagram stories. And then from here, I could just click on change image and then upload an image that has the proper dimensions for Instagram stories. So basically you can just go through and create and customize images based on each placement to make sure that they look good. Now this is the text. So I'm just going to type in some text here. This is the text field, the display link, and the headline. News feed description. So depending on the placement, some of these won't appear. For example, if I go back to desktop news feed, the display URL needs to be an actual website. So website.com, let's say. So you'll see where each of these appears. So the text appears right at the top. We've got the display link right here, the headline, and then the news feed description. If I go to mobile newsfeed, you'll see that the description is no longer there. Actually, it is, but there are certain placements where certain components won't appear. So just make sure that you go through and that each placement makes sense and includes everything that you want to. So once you create your ad, you can scroll down. You can make sure that you select the correct button. So oftentimes I'll use learn more. It depends obviously on what your offer is, what you're advertising. You can see with this instant articles, the learn more buttons there. If you click on mobile newsfeed, it's a button right on the right hand side there. Depending on the ad objective, like let's say for example we used a traffic objective, when people click onto this button it's going to take them to another website, and there's going to be a field here which includes basically the destination URL when somebody clicks onto this button. Now because we selected the lead generation objective, what that means is when they click on that button, it's going to open up that lead form inside Facebook, right? So you can see here under instant form, this is only going to show up in your ad creation process if you've selected that lead generation marketing objective. So these are all the lead forms that currently exist in this ad account. So if I just clicked create new form, it's going to walk me through the process for how to create this lead form. So I would give it a name up there. The form type, I'm just going to leave at more volume. The intro, and then as you update the information, you'll see on the right hand side it will update. So let's say homes list in Calgary. Use the image from our ad. So that's the image in our ad, or we could upload another image from our computer. This is the paragraph. So you can see we can update all of this information. So basically with a lead generation form, we're trying to capture people's information. We're trying to get them to provide us with their name and email, usually at a minimum, maybe more. So if we go down to questions, we can determine what information we want to collect. So I'm going to click on show more options, and these are all of the different things that we can ask from them. Usually what I'll do with my type of lead generation is select first name, last name, email, and phone number. But once you do that, that's the last step of your ad creation process. What you're going to do next is click confirm, and your ad's going to go through an approval process. It sometimes takes a few minutes, sometimes it takes a few hours. Basically, Facebook is just going to review your ad to make sure that it's in line with their policies and that you're not doing advertising anything illegal or anything like that, and then it should be live. So if I click back onto here and then go to Ad Manager, this is where you're going to be able to review your ad performance. So you'll see, I don't know which ad account this is, but I've got a couple campaigns that are in here. So basically from here you can see we've got the campaign level, the ad set level, and then the ad level. Those are the three components of your ad creation process. So if I were to select this one, you'll see it says one selected. So now if I click on to ad sets, it's only going to show me the ad sets that are inside of that campaign. Whereas if I went back and unselected it and then went to ad sets, it's going to show me all of the ad sets in my ad account. So now there's 2 in there. And same things with the ads. If I just selected this one ad set and then went into ads, it's going to show me all of the ads inside of that one ad set. Now if you click onto this columns button, there's a bunch of pre-made column setups that you can click on and review your performance. All that's going to do is change the column names and the metrics that you're looking at. So if I scroll to the right here, you'll see all sorts of information that we can review about how our ads are performing. And then if I click onto performance, and then let's do maybe like performance and clicks, that's just going to change the metrics that you see. So if you want to customize these columns and add different ones, you can click onto this plus button here and then add other columns. And then on the right hand side, these are all of the columns that are currently selected. So if I just go through and click on these X buttons, it's going to remove that. And then if I search for different things, like for example leads, there's some different options. So if I just click on these checkboxes, these metrics are going to be added to the very end of my columns. So then if I click on apply, you'll see that those two metrics we added are right at the end there. So what I can do from here is click on the columns again, and then under custom I can click save, give this a name, let's say example, and then that will show up at the bottom there. So if I click onto another one, you'll see that example one's always going to be there. So basically you can just go in and customize the columns so that you're only looking at relevant information or information that's most important to you every time you're reviewing your ads. Other than that, I don't know what else to share with you in this video. There's a lot more you can learn about Facebook ads. There's some more advanced techniques, like I was talking about the Facebook Pixel, custom audiences, lookalike audiences, and then it really depends on the ads that you're running, the marketing objectives, and your offer and stuff like that. So it's hard for me to go in too much detail and explain, what kind of metrics you should be looking at and stuff like that. So maybe I'll create some different videos that explain some different scenarios and stuff like that. But in terms of getting your ads up and running from a beginner standpoint, I think I covered everything that you need to know to create a new Facebook page, create an ad account, go through the entire ad creation process, the campaign, ad set, and ad, and get up a Facebook ad campaign up and running. So I hope this video was helpful to you. Leave a comment below if I missed anything or if you have any questions. I'll see you guys in the next video.